Just so you know, Daft Monks is half talk show, half actual play campaign that features adult language and topics. Viewer discretion is advised.
Let's get to it. Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Nat One Presents Daft Monks, the podcast. Hey, Nate, long time no see?
No see, no talk, no anything, Nate. What the hell, man?
I'm a terrible friend. It's been we've had a break, but I think the pod's still going strong, just like our friendship. We don't have to see or talk to each other every day, and we know, we know.
When you know, Nate. And I know that we didn't record the last 8 months or so.
It's been a doozy. I had that move.
Yeah, that was huge.
I had no internet that was reliable for a long time.
And then I was just coming in hot on you. I remember one of our last sessions, I called out every time somebody made a noise in the background. I'm like, someone just dropped a spoon. And you're like, yep, that's exactly what happened.
Oh, and I was getting it from both ends. I was hearing it from you. And then Dad would come out and be like, why you got to make noise all night? I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do, man?
Yeah, it was just, I think we did the right thing, honestly. It just wasn't the right time. It wasn't fun anymore. And if we're not having fun, how the fuck are people going to listen to us if we're listening anymore? Right. I don't even know.
Oh, they're still listening. Germany's number 3 right now.
It is. So, I already obviously named recapping this for the listeners that may do or do not exist, but we got our year in review for last year for the podcast. And some interesting things there. One was that we did have a couple of different listeners in 30 different countries. I'm sure a lot of that's maybe bots or crawlers or whatever, but what's kind of undeniable was Germany was had 90 listens, which is pretty high, and that's also not a country I'd expect bots from, so
except for maybe Nightbot. Maybe he's from Deutschland.
Nightbot never gave up, even when we stopped publishing episodes, still listening to our show.
Number 1 superfan, Dankeschön, Nightbot. Wie geht's?
What's crazy, Nate, is I'm kind of glad we took a break. I think it was really able to take a step back and see, think about why we did this in the first place, what's fun. And then back when I was editing this heavily, I would listen to the same episode 100 times. That's not even an exaggeration. And so we took a break. I didn't listen to it for a few months, and then you had mentioned something, and I was like, I really want to go back and listen to one of my favorite episodes. And it was so refreshing to after not hearing it for 8 months to be oh, this is still these are good times. These are some funny talks.
Right. And then I would still listen to them all the time. It's really the only podcast I listen to, not to be tooting my own horn or anything, but everything else is shit compared to what we make. But then I would listen to it in the work truck on Bluetooth, and then I'd force whoever's riding with me to listen to it. And I would usually be driving, and I'd be looking over hey, that's fucking funny, right? Come blue, you get it.
Did they ever laugh? Were there laughs?
Oh, there are laughs, and a lot of them were oh man, I'm going to check this out. In fact, our warehouse guy, Donnie, that we now play D&D with, fucking loves the show, apparently, and I don't blame him. But he's our demographic for sure.
Yeah, we're playing, we have that campaign with Donnie's crew. Thanks for inviting me to that. That's been fun.
Yeah, that's been really fun. It's nice and refreshing to find an actual good group, of people. We've tried before, and I know I've tried before at the mall or even online to try to find somebody. I went out and bought the Cyberpunk book thinking, oh, me and Nate are going to try Cyberpunk. And just to find a group for that is a fucking mess, man. Especially for beginners, everybody on there is intermediate to advanced players only for my campaign. I don't want to be walking anybody through it.
And he sent me that book, and I'm like, this is a thick fucking text, man. This is not a light read. And even even if it were the same, I'm pretty sure it's thicker than the PHP, but for D&D, but it was also dense material. It was not light filler content. So, honestly, I still want to do that sometime.
Oh, I do too.
Figure that out.
Right. But man, super intimidating. Like you said, the only class I would even want to play would be the rocker boy one, because then I'd get some kind of cult following, which I plan on anyways in real life. It would be the wizard class. The whole thing is super fucking weird, where there's a mini game inside of the game, and you have to like follow these dungeons and battle these other monsters that you're not even really battling. Like, holy shit, I couldn't keep up just reading it, let alone playing it.
That's wild. And you know me, like I usually look to you guys to just summarize the content. So it's like, if you haven't gotten through it yet, like I'm fucked.
Just roll a dice. Like, I don't know what dice to fucking roll, man.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. So let's give like top 3 things that happened to you last year. And then I don't know, we don't have to be negative, but if there's any like really not great things, I don't know.
Okay.
Highlights.
Highlight number 1 is we went to the North Pole experience finally. In Flagstaff, Arizona, and that was super awesome. Roscoe had the time of his life. Corbin, not so much. But he's at the age where he's like, Dad, I have to tell you a secret. And I'm like, oh my God, Corbin, what is it? I know Santa's not real. And I'm like, oh, Corbin, man.
But he's not spoiling it for Roscoe, right?
No, he's going out of his way to make sure.
That's cool, because I know a lot of kids, like, once the oldest knows, they ruin it for the other. Like, the others can't have that magic anymore.
Right. He's trying his best to keep it together. Luckily, the holidays are over. We made it a year of him knowing and not spoiling it. The highlight of it was not only the smile on Roscoe's face, but it was at one point we were supposed to be having hot cocoa with Mrs. Claus, and an elf named Missy came over to Corbin and saw him sitting there not enjoying in the winter festivities and said, hey, would you like to dance with me? And let me tell you, Nate, as a straight male, Missy was the only attractive lady elf to be working at this entire establishment. So I immediately started elbowing Corbin and was like, you're gonna dance with Missy? He immediately became embarrassed and buried his face in Megan's armpit, and I felt really bad about that. But
that's a reasonable reaction at that age.
Me being me, I wouldn't let it go for about 3 weeks after the fact. So even now, I'll be like, hey, Corbin, Missy left a letter from the North Pole for you if you're interested.
He's going to be married and have children, and you're still going to be like, telling the story.
Hey, Corbin, do you remember Missy the elf? What a good dame she was.
She had a great personality.
And a killer ass.
I think where when bad with Corbin is, I remember last year for Christmas, or the year before rather, like Santa like slapped his hand away during like a photo or something, right? And I think after that he's like, there's no fucking Santa. Santa wouldn't slap my hand away. Yeah. Like I think he put it all together all after that, you know.
Oh yeah. After that specifically, we had to have the talk where it's like, hey, the guys at the mall are just Santa's helpers, man. Like Santa wouldn't really push your head out of the picture like that. So, you know, like, and then I think it started unraveling from there. He's a genius, you know, so it didn't take long for the cogs to start turning on that.
Certainly not. Okay, yeah. So Santa's workshop. Anything else? Any other highlights? I mean, moving, I think, was like stressful, but at the end of the day, now I think. Do you like your house more than your last house?
The house itself, it's okay.
Oh my God. I thought you were going to lie.
No.
But you're close to babysitters.
Yes, and family, and I'm making quite a bit more money here, which I do enjoy that.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you off the air what kind of money I'm making.
Hells yeah.
But yeah, it's blown away what I was making before. So, and I like this little town. Like there's a rampant slew of homeless apparently that have sprung up since I've left, along with a new population of wild horses and donkeys that just roam the highways, which is the most dangerous place to fucking roam. I mean, kid you not, Nate, there are signs on the side of the highway that say caution, wild burros. Like, oh, okay. But people fucking hit them. Apparently burros in the dead of night like to just stand on asphalt. Like that is their favorite go-to.
Oh my God. Dark.
Oh yeah.
Yikes. Well, sounds like overall a good situation though.
Yeah, I think so. I think overall, like it was a rough start, but I think anytime you make a big move, it's a rough start until you get the hang of things.
Yeah.
But we're in the swing now.
And the market only got worse, after your move. So as stressful as it was, it could have been even worse. So
Yes, exactly. Like, we're lucky that we found a house at the time we did, even though I'm paying a little bit more than I actually wanted to for this kind of house. But we have a house, so I'm excited, and I have good internet. I can't.
Thank God. Yeah, that was a deal breaker. That'll make a man crumble, and you did in fact implode.
Oh yeah, because every night I'm like, Mom, what the hell's up with the internet, man? And she's like, well, it's the internet company, and I'm like, what are you paying for? Oh, they promised 40 megabits a second. I'm like, let me do a speed test. Okay, we're getting 18 megabits a second. I'm like, all right. Yeah.
It's like borderline DSL at that point.
Right. I'm like, where's the modem? Let me like dial up here, like get on AOL. Maybe Nate wants to talk in a chat room on AOL Messenger.
I remember one time one of our last episodes we recorded, and like the software we used, it uploads both of our audios on both ends, like on your side and my side. And mine was done like 20 minutes after I got offline, and I woke up the next day and yours was still uploading. And I was like, all right, cool. I'll edit this tomorrow, I guess.
Oh man, I was like, I had to go in and change my settings on my fucking PC so it wouldn't knock into sleep mode and ruin the recording all night.
Yeah, it was a lot to ask. So I appreciate you trying to make it work those first few months. But wasn't meant to be. But we are not that easily shaken. Sure, we took a year off, but we're back, and we're gonna finish, at least to some extent, the season 2 story, so you guys get a little bit of closure.
Yeah, you can't bring us down. What about you, Nate? What is a highlight of 2022?
Yeah. For me, we adopted a third cat, a kitten. So we had like a white and yellow and like a brindle cat, and so we adopted. We kept joking we wanted a gray one, and we went to Petco one day just to get litter, and they have there's always like an adoption area always like populated, and there was this one little kitten all alone. It was super chill. It was like very lethargic. Like it has like the holes to like put your finger through, which I'm like, oh, don't do that. They could like bite you. But it just like laid there, and I was like, oh, I feel so bad for this animal. So we're like, fuck it, let's adopt it right now. And it's like a nice in between of Ben and Appa, because Appa is very standoffish, and then Ben is like on top of you, and like he won't like just sit on your lap and let you pet him. Like he's just crawling around, like doesn't stay still. So this one like likes to play. It's a kitten, but it also will just sit on my lap and like chill the fuck out and watch TV.
Yeah,
so like,
that's
thank
good.
you.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for. Yeah.
You look over at Ben, you're like, see, this is how you should be, you son of a bitch.
Ben is adapted pretty well. Appa hates everything. Like she has not like the cat can, at best, the kitten can like sit right next to her, but if it touches her, she like bats it in the face and hisses at it. Like every
suck a punch.
Yeah, suck a punch. Exactly. So, but yeah, expanding our family, and then I think a really good thing that came out of us taking a break from the podcast for me was that we had started the podcast before I switched jobs, and I never fully like got over being like new and like the like stress of like the new role. And once we stopped like recording, I'm like, well, I guess I have to take my job seriously now. And like after that, I actually started being a lot less stressed. I got a lot better at my job. I got like a raise, a promotion, like things just started going my way. So, and now I actually like, I didn't dislike my job, but I was on the fence of like, do I really want to do this forever? Like, I'm not sure if it's for me. And now I really love my team. And I love what I do. So kind of gave me the room to grow there.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm picturing you still at the adoption place. And then over the intercom speaker, it's doing that like, in the arms of his loving nature.
It was kind of wild too, because it was one of those things where I kept like trying to give myself an out. Like we got there and we saw it. I'm like, yeah, we can adopt it. But it was like 30 minutes till close. But I'm like, oh, but they're probably closing. And the guy's like, oh, no, well, we'll stay late so you can adopt the animal. I was like, oh, okay.
Son of a bitch.
And they're like, oh, but you got to call the adoption agency. I'm like, oh, they're not going to be open right now. They're like, no, they call back at all hours. And they called us back. And like, it just kept going down that route of like, okay, I guess we're taking this fucking cat.
Right. They're like, oh, the machine's down. I don't have cash. Like, oh, it's okay. We'll spot you.
Yeah, basically.
You're taking this cat.
That's almost exactly how it went. So crazy stuff. But all right, that's enough for boring life events. I think today's topic. Well, first, I want to establish what the show is going to be
From here on out. Yes.
and the general theme is less, just less planning. The whole D&D element, I think we're scrapping. I think we like to role play. We might use like probability, like a dice roll to decide if things are successful, but we're not going to plan D&D stuff. We're not going to do boring battle, which was always, honestly, when I listen back to the episodes, the least like exciting part of every episode I heard.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So I think we're just going to have more fun with it. We're not going to plan as much for you guys. I'm not going to edit the episodes as much. So you're going to hear us talking over. You're going to hear Nate's phone go off, some loud vaping.
I haven't vaped once since we've been recording. I've been trying to...
It's been 10 minutes, Nate.
Real quick.
But yeah, I think we're just going to have fun with it. And I hope that makes still a fun show for you guys. But we need to just make it manageable. You know, we got families and lives, and me trying to like push us to be the next Critical Role podcast isn't going to happen. So
Right. So deal with it. You like us. We know you like us. Deutschland.
So similar though, we'll still do like whatever, talk about what we want. Or today I actually had, I don't know if I'll call it an activity, Nate, but like a topic and some material for us. AI, I think, has been like a really big trend lately.
Terrifying.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And if you remember, listeners, I know it's been a minute since we aired our show, but Nate's the kind of guy that like doesn't even want to use the self-checkout at the gas station. Like he doesn't want to use the app. He doesn't like, Nate's very anti-technology sometimes. And so AI is like 17 steps ahead of anything he wants to do at any given time.
It's too much. It's too much. I'll trust it. Not one bit.
But in the last few months, Nate, it's like the technology has started to become like wildly accessible, and it's pretty good. So have you heard about this, like the Chat GPT? It's like a chat bot, basically.
No, not really. No.
Okay. So some like researchers were building it. It's like an AI chatbot. You can like ask it a question like a search engine, but it will actually like, if you're like, what is the code for this? It'll like explain, it's like, here's the code, and it explains how the code works. Like the AI is just so intelligent. I asked it, we don't have a Wikipedia page for my company. I was like, write a Wikipedia page. And it did. And it was not bad.
Whoa.
It's pretty good. Yeah. Between that was like going like all the rage on the internet, because basically what's happening now is, of course, we always think of ways to exploit this kind of stuff, and people were using it to write research papers. Like it does a really good job at like, it's really good at dialects. So not only can it like find stuff on the internet like a search engine, but then it can write incredibly cohesively in like natural language, like about that topic. Whoa. So people are like writing research papers for school and they're abusing it. People are using it to like do press releases for work. It's kind of wild.
Right.
Yeah, I guess you haven't tried it at all. It's
no, absolutely not. Like how does it know? Does it do slang too, or does it keep things kind of formal? Like is it saying no cap or whatever else the kids?
No, I think it uses like proper English, but I think it's like grammatically correct, but it, you know, we speak differently than we write, and it was kind of like a nice combination, like nice middle ground of the two. Like it felt like somebody was actually talking the way it wrote. Versus like, you know what a thesis statement sounds like, you know, like there are 7 continents. The first continent is called, but you know, it wasn't writing like that. It was more like kind of how I would describe it to you. Like, oh yeah, there's 7 continents. We live on, you know, this one, North America or whatever. So pretty wild.
Scary.
But that's the boring side of it. I just wanted to like introduce that because that was like the last 3 months. And by the way, that whole thing got acquired by Bing because nobody uses Bing. They do use Bing.
No, I do not use Bing. Like no.
I could see you Google being a big guy. Right after I said it, I'm like, oh, I could see you just using the default search.
Google just comes up. So I just use Google. And remember, I was using Microsoft Edge for the longest time until you told me to stop. And then I'm like, oh, okay. Maybe I'll just download this Google Chrome thing Nate's talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So anyway, the last part of that story was that I think Microsoft bought that like whole Chat GPT thing to like use with Bing. So now Bing's going to be like a crazy OP search engine that will also like answer questions like in real time and like write you descriptions and stuff. So that should be interesting.
So I can put my half-assed searches in there and it'll be like, hey, bud, I got you. I think I know what you're talking about.
So someone gave me an example. It can make you character sheets for D&D.
Whoa.
Dead serious. Yeah, I'll send you a link after this, and I'll send you like a screen capture. But yeah, it can do stuff like that. It can create like formats and whatnot. It's crazy.
Dang.
But anyway, tonight I want to talk about something even more terrifying, and that's the AI avatar trend on social media. So before tonight, Nate, had you heard of anything about you?
No, but I've seen, like, sometimes I'll scroll through whatever, and I've seen a bunch of different people posting things, and it just looks like some art, but it looks like somebody made it. And most of the ones I've seen, it does look like the person. But I saw that they tagged like it was AI or whatever, and I don't understand it. I don't know if I want to understand it, because I saw, like, a little side note before we get too heavy into it. I saw like a little side note documentary on like one of these Japanese artists like drawing it, and he's like, well, but there was like a panel of people watching him, and he's like, why do you guys want to know how I draw? And they were like, oh, so we can teach a machine to do it. And he was like, oh. And then on the side interview, he's like, I believe this is the end. Like, oh my God, I know it is.
It definitely is. And I mean, like, right, obviously implications. So what this does, if you download the app, it asks for like 5 to 10 selfies of you or photos, gives you some rules, can't be in groups, no glasses, so on and so forth. And then it just creates like dozens of variations, and like some of them are cartoons, like some of them are trendy things. Cyberpunk is a whole category, which we'd be into. And yeah, I was fucking bored. Honestly, it was because I was waiting for you. We're starting like pretty late my time, like 10 o'clock, 9:30. And I was like, I don't know. Let me try this out. And I'm not one to like worry about like, sure, they're like, oh, they're collecting your facial scan so that they can enter you in a database. And the reality in my mind is if someone wants to hack you, like they can, like truly, like you and I as just like everyday people and consumers with like consumer computers and technology and hardware, like we're not able to stop a hack if we wanted to. The thing is, we're such small fish. Like imagine someone hacking our account. What the fuck are they going to find?
Right.
Like
debt.
We're not the big fish that they're going after. So I'm not super worried about giving up my security. I know like your son, for instance, would probably be very against even just like sharing pictures for a filter. Anywho, I entered in my photos, and some of them, right, like some of them were interesting, some of them were funny. I thought some of them were really funny. I had some like real villain ones, some like Cyber Commander, Space Marine stuff, a lot of like things that made me look like fucking Constantine.
Ooh, yeah, there's a lot of those. I'm definitely getting the vibes like when you play the RPG games, like the God mode or God level ones.
Yep.
How those character pictures come up. There's a lot that look just like those, and I love those.
There was like two themes for my photos, basically, or for the images it delivered back to me. It was either majestic, like I'm like regal looking and just like staring off with like regalia and like crazy armory and armament and stuff, or I just looked very deranged and like misassembled. And that was really it. It was one or the other. That was it.
Yes.
But then we did you. And I'm sorry, I didn't even ask you. Probably should ask your permission, but I'm like, I have to do this. Like, I need to know. And Nate, your stuff was absolutely wild. And do you want to talk about it a little bit? Like, what were your impressions when I sent your AI rendered various avatars?
Okay. First of all, I didn't mind because it is what it is. But going through mine, I have I guess, this is news to me, a very distinct, I guess, burl, I guess you could say, in my eyebrows. Like it looks like I'm scowling all the time. And this AI apparently latched onto that like no one's business, because every single fucking picture has that in it. It's got the 3 fucking lines like right there, Nate. I'm making a face at you right now. It loves that. And for those of you at home that can't see, it's just 3 vertical lines that go down in between my eyebrows, and it loves it.
It like, even a lot of times it gives him like a very like stern exaggeration, and it's like, okay, that kind of works, but then it will soften his face but still give you those 3 vertical lines.
Yes,
that's one of the things. There was a lot of themes with your photos.
Oh yeah,
cracking me up.
patchy beard. It loved patchy beards. There is one that is showing me with like high sleeves, and it's supposed to look like my arms are crossed, but really it's a una arm, like a long sausage going from shoulder to shoulder with an assortment of tattoos. One of which actually looks like a swastika for some reason that really startled me when I was scrolling through it quickly. I was like, what the fuck is that?
I only had, like, obviously, Nate, I don't have like fucking tons of photos on you on my phone because that'd be weird. Right. So I really just had like 3 from when we used to record, and you always almost wore that like D&D shirt that literally said Dungeons and Dragons. So it kept literally putting you in like red clothing and spelling gibberish on your chest. It's so fucking hilarious.
Oh, but yeah.
Honestly, the themes I got was it got crazy with your hair. And that's so funny because that is like a joke with you on the podcast. Like, right, we always joke about how into your hair you are. That's kind of a real life thing. But then like Nate, like this one cracks me. Like, what's going on? It's so wild.
So the picture Nate's referring to is how I kind of do like a pompadour style hairdo. This one has me in a kimono looking off to my right shoulder majestically. But my pompadour is approximately 2 feet tall and flowing back and doing something that is completely unnatural for hair. Imagine like a woman from the 60s, maybe, that would have like a big bob going on. And
higher the hair, closer to God type deal.
Yes. I am a Texas mother in this picture getting ready to get my daughter off to the Little Miss Princess pageant.
It's like if I were to mathematically say, like, in terms of like the height of your head, the pompadour it put on top of your head in that photo is about 68% of the height of your head.
Yes.
On top of your head. It's wild.
To the very peak, and I love it.
It's so crazy, Nate. And then other themes were hats. Boy, did it like putting you in big flamboyant hats.
And Nate's not joking by these hats. Like the first one that comes up, if we're scrolling in order, is like a military-esque style flat brim, which is, it's fine. But then we immediately go to the next hat, and that is this Aztec headphone helmet hat that takes up more of the picture than my actual face. It is the craziest. I'm looking at this thing, and it's the craziest looking thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't even know how it's really attached to my head because my ears are kind of just floating in the back there.
It very much gave me like almost like a Rogue One Stormtrooper helmet, but then it's like but then it goes Aztec, and then in the background you have flowers in the background.
Yes.
It is so, oh my goodness, it's absolutely wild.
Which is giving me very Kotal Khan vibes from Mortal Kombat. But the edges are like these Princess Leia donut headphone looking things. So but if we're going to go to the next hat, that is just a here's looking at you kid hat with some Gryffindor style, maybe professor robes on. But then it went ahead and threw in some gibberish writing and a number 16 on the chest, because that is what AI knows that I want. And then, of course, we have sausage arm, which is one arm that goes from shoulder to shoulder. Then we go to the next hat. This one, I am shirtless, wearing some maroon burgundy cloth draped over my shoulder, over my pectoral. I look kind of like Rain from Mortal Kombat 11, except for the hat. They decided to give me an Indiana Jones style hat. But the background lighting goes very well with this Indiana Jones hat.
It just goes on and on, Nate. It goes on and on.
Right.
So I could not, like, I'm crying laughing right now. I don't know if the listeners can hear it, but while I was, and like, your commentary helps, but also when I was like looking at these, I was just dying. My photos weren't this weird. Right. They were so much weirder. And the photos I had of you were very normal, just sitting at the mic for the podcast. That was it. It's so crazy, Nate.
Right. But I do appreciate that in the more like hyper realistic looking ones, the lighting on these AI generated photos is bananas. Like they nail the lighting and the shadows and stuff, and it really makes things pop. But then you scroll through and then you get to something where I don't even know what I'm looking at. Here's the one Nate was just talking about where the wind is blowing through my hair, and it looks like I have severely chapped lips with Mordor behind me in the background. And I just don't know what's going on. I kind of look like the guy from The Boys, the Superman bad guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I got a lot of that too. I wonder if they use, because I in mine I also felt like I got a lot of that main antagonist.
Yes, but very cool pictures. When they nail it right. Like there's definitely like 5 or 6 in here that I really like and could see using them in something. Definitely a couple of the cyberpunk ones. I look like I'm a member of the Valentinos in one of them. If you follow cyberpunk lore, like that is super cool to me. I like the Valentinos. But then we have, when we scroll further, Nate, there's a section I think that I'm gonna label, and you had quite a few as well, as a snow princess. And it decided to make us both snow princesses. Some more than others. This one, I am definitely a Russian nobility wearing white fur. But then if we go to the funny one, yes, that one. But then we go to the really funny one, past the Tsar, and it looks like I stole a hat. Again, a hat. It looks like I stole this hat from Queen Elizabeth. And it, for me to describe it to the fans at home, it is a blue background. Again, it threw red on my inside lapels, and I am wearing this blue. It looks like a lady's coat. I'm not going to lie, the way the material is. Now, this hat is one of those bucket style hats with some blue plumage, and there is a royal jewel, I think was their attempt at throwing in random letters again. And actually, this is the only picture that doesn't have my little Frauen lines. So I don't know what to think about.
Because you were super into that hat, man. I think,
yes.
So you know how like in Southern congregations, like at church, like the women wear like big hats with like feathers on it and stuff?
Yes.
This is what that picture gave me. When I saw that, I'm like, you're going to Sunday Mass. You're like head of the pageantry, head of the choir, and you were just, and then your expression is just, it's price. I don't even know like what you're looking up at. I'm
looking at Becky Sue, and she brought in brownies for the afternoon luncheon, and I'm like, this bitch.
It was a good time, Nate. It was a good laugh.
Yeah.
I'm not concerned about if these go in some like Chinese database. In one picture, I mean, honestly, every 3 pictures you were a different race.
Yeah.
And not because of it was like trying to do that purposely. I think it had trouble pinning you down. Because you're Samoan. Oh, now you're black. I think it was just kind of struggling with interpreting.
Right. With my dark hair and tan complexion, I argued with a new guy today that I'm not Mexican. And he's a Mexican guy, and he's like, no, you're Mexican. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, I did a 23andMe, and I'm Welsh and Irish. And he's like, you don't have to lie to me.
And wow, because like, I don't know, you give me like Mediterranean for sure. Like, I don't know. So it's wild, Nate. Like you're an enigma, and I don't think you have anything to worry about. If probably if this enters in your system and people try to like imitate you, it's going to look like some really weird, flamboyant, angry, caricature that will look nothing
right.
Like. So
like, it looks like I'm the future. Like when all the races mix together, this is what the AI art generated for my pictures. But if we're going to move, I want to go back to Nate's pictures. Now, there is one where you are it's one of the Ice Princess ones, Nate.
Yep.
And it's the one that you sent me, where I don't know if you have ever seen Beauty and the Beast, the TV series.
No.
I don't know. You should pull that up in a side window right now, Beauty and the Beast TV series. I believe it's from the 90s. And the AI art generated Nate's face in such a way that it made him look exactly how my memory is recalled.
Oh, wow. That is not flattering. But yes.
It took your nose and completely squished it, but left it the same height outward.
Are you talking about the top one?
The top one. Yeah, the top one. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
And then it dropped your ears down super low, and it gave you this look where you're like, hey, that's the guy who's slow if the older brother dies, he's gonna be king. So like, let's take it easy.
And I got to be honest, Nate, like I didn't send you a lot of my bad ones. And I have a lot of like weird stuff like that, where yours were just all like hilarious. I had a lot of like uncomfortable, like here, I'll share. Well, the app has like one really terrible, like annoying user feature where you can't, if you click on the image, it takes you to the start of the images, which is so stupid. But let me see if I can like,
ooh, yeah.
I got like weird shit like that. Like, let me see.
Was that a hood or a hair swoop?
Who knows? Look at this guy.
I kind of like that's like an anime style.
It did a lot. And then I will say, Nate, yours almost always made you look very masculine, like flamboyant hats, but masculine man.
Right.
But I definitely had some like, I want to call them lady boys. I don't know. I had some that they definitely like, hold on. I think I must have made duck face in one of mine because like my lips in all of them look a lot like that. Like they're like really red and like pursed out.
Yes.
But hold on. Where is the one that really made me? I got one more for you guys before we move on, where I just really felt kind of feminized and not in like, here it is. All right. It's going to be hard to get the camera to zero in, but I was like, this is a bottom. This is a twig bottom who's looking for a pounding.
Right. No, I saw that one and immediately thought, I don't know if it's like the dog collar thing. See, well, yeah, what's it doing to your face? Because you're kind of looking like it's giving you that Sheldon forehead, and you don't have a Sheldon forehead.
I got you're blessed with a hairline that looks normal, but mine is receding, Nate, and I think it sometimes it very much exaggerated it quite a bit. But yeah, good times. Do we recommend you do it? It's probably bad from a security standpoint, but it was a good time. And also it gave me like 200 photos for like $5 or something. So I was like, whatever. It was worth the laugh. I think I got maybe 3 or 4 maybe cool avatars for like Discord or something out of it.
Right. Or D&D characters for
definitely.
our Roll20.
Yeah, because I mean, we have every NPC here. We have the local commoner, and then we have like the czar, and like we have a version of us in like every single like ridiculous stereotype and like a D&D campaign. So I definitely plan to use these jokes. It's just versions of us.
That's terrifying.
Like I kind of want to like pretend to be a professional DM, and then like for that group use tokens of only me. Just a different version of me. But not address it. Like just pretend like it's totally normal.
You're like, what? I downloaded all these images. Mine I could get away with. They'd be like, oh, it's a totally different guy, but why do all of his characters have fucking hats? I'll be like, it's really sunny in this realm. Everyone needs to wear a fucking hat, okay?
Oh, man. Well, with that, I think you want to, if assuming Belmont and Abraham Van Helsing are still alive, I guess we should recap for listeners who haven't listened in a year, like where do we leave off in Daft Monks and D-Hunters?
I think that's a good idea, Nate, and I think you should do that because I don't remember. No, I have listened up to the very last episode. So the last I remember is that we originally were retired. We gave that up, that life of adventuring. But then I couldn't help myself as Van Helsing and decided to seek out odd jobs, robbing the cemetery and such, and then ended up getting Dread Pirate Captain McNibbles, some kind of potion on him that was supposed to go to you, but then that made him go into a fit of rage. I remember Belmont being filled with extreme disappointment for a good majority of the episodes. We met Blade. He was a punk-ass bitch. We met the Penguin selling trinkets because it turns out he's just a stepdad out there trying to make his way through the world. We killed some cannibal children. Maybe there's a shrine to Greta. We met Littlefinger, but not really Littlefinger for copyright infringement reasons. But hey, he was totally Littlefinger. We stayed in the castle. We saw murals on the castle wall. And from there, I think that's where I am fading off because I'm not caught up.
Yeah, so those are a lot of details that don't necessarily combine tell a very great story. But yeah, I think the whole premise of the first 4 episodes was pulled out of retirement. Dreadnought Captain Sky Pirate McNibbles was unfortunately beheaded because he was turned into a were-rat by Dracula's posse or whatever. And Dracula's back. He is now revived in full force. And what we come to find out, we go to like the Heron Vineyard church is where our like contexts are, and we're usually in this universe, the church like provides monster hunters with the equipment and the intel needed to kind of deal with these types of supernatural situations. But what we find out there is that actually all the churches have been infiltrated. This one, in fact, the Littlefinger character you talk about gets murdered, and we have a little murder mystery. And it turns out one of the nuns was a kind of covert Dracula agent. I forgot. She was some kind of like shadow creature or something.
Yeah. Was her name Mother's Sister?
No, you tried to disguise yourself as Sister Brother.
Oh, yes, Sister Brother.
She was Sister Montgomery. And my favorite moment from that episode was like, we start with 4 people, 2 of them die, and then Belmont finally figures out that it's the nun. So Belmont looks over at and Helsing's like, "Can you help me with this kink in my neck?" And like gesturing towards the nun, and he's like, "I got you, my boy," and just stabs the other person. And it was like, "No, I meant the nun." And then the nun's like right there, and she just like transforms. And then we're like, "You bastard! You killed Juan John Sanchez." Yeah. So where we left off is we did defeat that like demon monster nun, and unfortunately in doing so burned down the entire church. But we made it out with both a contract and some intel that basically all the churches have been compromised and that we are on our own. We're some of the only monster hunters still alive, and it's up to us to deal with Dracula.
I am caught up now. Thank you, Nate.
The darkness is approaching yet again. The vampires have outnumbered us 4-1, and our odds are not in our favor. It seems as if all hope is lost.
I wouldn't quite say lost, as probably misplaced or something along those lines. But either way, fear not, for Van Helsing and Belmonts are here to save you.
Where I think we're going to go with the story today, I think after that time, Belmont suggested that we go to the Belmont Manor, since they can't stock up in any of the parishes or the local religious establishments that would usually serve as an armory. We're going to go to the Belmont family home, which has long since been abandoned, Belmont being the last of his clan, but it has a number of really cool monster hunter tools and weapons and kind of ancient texts that might be helpful. And how we're going to, for our listeners, how we're going to play this going forward is we have like a goal in mind, and that is it for the episode. We are going to real-time role play this and just roll a d20 to decide if certain actions pass or fail based on like the situation, and that's it. We're gonna make the story up as we go. So it's probably going to be very messy. Might be a little funny, might not be. We'll see how it goes.
Either way, it's going to be funny. That's what we do.
Absolutely. All right. So yeah, I imagine we are walking in the woods, and Belmont is talking to Van Helsing, and he's like, I can't believe you pointed us in the wrong direction. You said you had the map, and then you pointed it up, and I feel like it's been at least 12 months since we've actually done anything at Heron Vineyard. Like, we totally got sideways, and now it's been like a year, but it's not. It's only been 3 weeks, but it feels like a year in real lifetime.
I did have a map. I don't know what you're talking about. This was a map to the Golden Corral Buffet, and that is where I wanted to go, but it turns out that was in the last town behind us. So you didn't ask which map I had, but in fact I had a map.
Yes. I don't know why I ever assume anything other than the absolute minimum from you, but I guess that's on me, right? It is my family home. You think I would know, which way to go, but just to be honest with you, Van Helsing, I haven't been home in a long time. It's kind of a a lot of trauma there, a lot of baggage, and I haven't wanted to deal with it, and I haven't wanted to be back there. But I don't think we have a choice. We need to arm up. We're not ready to face Dracula in his current state without some of my family's relics and tools. So it's time to face the music, as they say.
I'm expecting a warm welcome. I know you said it's empty, but I just can't picture that in my head. I'm just imagining right now that we walk in and there's trumpets playing and there's carpets rolled out and somebody has hens and chickens and hogs with apples in their mouths just waiting for us to starve. I'm starving.
And as you say that, I imagine we like exit out of like the forest into like a clearing, and you see this like clearly abandoned, run down, like foreclosed on property that like is a total like hazard to be in. It looks like a total shit show, and I'm like, well, does that line up with your expectations?
Where are we? What is this? Is this the keeper's house?
No, this is my home. This is the esteemed Belmont Manor. It's been in a bit of disarray because nobody's taken care of it after my entire family was massacred by Dracula.
No, nobody, huh? No kind person.
No. Well, who would just take care of a house for no reason, right? It's not like I'm mailing them a paycheck.
No, sometimes a vagabond will come by and be like, "Oh, this place looks dirty. I'm gonna go ahead and."
God, I hope not. I hope no one homeless people have moved into my family home. Jesus, don't put that out there.
Yeah, they've probably shit all over the floors. They're not very nice people, those vagabonds, for the most part.
That totally get out of character for a sec. I recently listened to the episode where those saleswomen sold you the vacuum cleaner that you didn't want. And that's when you said shit on the floor, it totally reminded me of, this place is filthy.
Now, if you wouldn't mind, Belmont, my boy, point me to the shitting floor once we're inside. I've been holding it for quite some time. I don't like to go in the woods.
Yes, okay. Well, first off, I did seal this place with a spell last I was here when I checked in briefly, just for bare necessities. So we just need to say the magic words that I entrusted with you.
Oh, yes. The magic word was... I wrote it down somewhere here.
Yes. Yep.
On my inner thigh. I thought it would be safer there. And it seems to have smeared quite a bit. So bear with me. It says mummions. Mummions, I believe, was the word.
Just then the door opens slowly, and Belmont's like, I was just fucking with you, Ben Helsing. There's no magic words. I know you didn't. Well, I gave you that magic word. I knew you'd forget about it. Munions. What even is that?
Yeah, it's what's written on my thigh. I don't know what to tell you. It's like some kind of artificial intelligence saw Dungeons and Dragons written on a shirt, and then it decided to change the letters around and turn it into Munions, apparently.
Ben Helsing, if every word tattooed on your body was a magic word, then we'd have a whole lot of magic words and definitely at least one tramp stamp.
That's true. I have Sheila written on my arm, but above that, there's the little exponents, and there's a 12 above that. So apparently I've known at least 12 Sheilas in my life. I don't have enough room for separate Sheilas.
Okay. Excellent. Well, let's go in. Be careful. Honestly, this place has not been kept. You might fall through the floorboards. Things might collapse. It's very dusty. You can't really see very much. So just don't touch anything. This is my home. As much as a piece of shit as it looks like right now. A lot of memories. A lot of good times. Definitely a lot of bad times. Means a lot to me here. But let's go get some things out of my room. I know I kept some things in my bedroom, and then there is an archive downstairs that has a number of our valuables, hopefully locked away still.
Very well. I imagine you, as we're walking up to your bedroom, I assume it's like on the top.
Yeah.
Up a staircase or something. I imagine you running around as a little Belmont, getting into mischief, doing cartwheels out in the grass and throwing your paper throwing stars, your origami, and I just imagine all of this, and you look so nice. Where are we? What is this place?
Well, actually, if you want to see photos, we do actually have some, some sketches that were done back in the day, some portraits of the family. And yes, I was a happy old chipper boy. Here, right here in my mother's room. Come here. I'll show you.
Ooh, yes.
I open the door into this like very, I don't know, decorative, very feminine, has, like lots of armoires and mirrors. In addition to the fact that this whole property is abandoned, I would say this bedroom looks like nobody inhabited it, right? It didn't look like we really lived in.
Right.
And so Belmont's like, so this is my mother's room. We have a number of family photos and portraits here. But, I don't know if I ever told you, Van Helsing, about my mother, but she wasn't there for all of my childhood. My father and her had a falling out when we were young, and then she was gone. And shortly later, she died of some terrible illness.
Oh, yes, but look at the rack on her.
Oh, Van Helsing, that's my mother.
Well, I know, but she's the one putting it out there, like obviously you're little and she only had a kid a little while ago, but she is flaunting the goods. You know what I'm saying? Can I keep this?
No, you can't keep... No.
For later.
Look, I brought you in here to show you. Look at this photo. Look, see, I was happy once. I wasn't so cynical. I wasn't so angry, so moody. I had people who loved me and people who, did those cartwheels and all those things. And it was all great until, honestly, everything was going wonderful until my mother, that one night, I remember waking up and my parents were fighting, and I went into their bedroom and I just hear my father saying, "Really, how could you, with him of all people?"
Oh, yes. Him. Wow.
Yeah, we don't know who it was, but it's just apparently it's my brothers and sisters said my mother was maybe, unfaithful. I don't know. She slept with another man, Van Helsing.
Oh, what a scandal.
And after that, my father couldn't look at her straight, and she just left.
That is preposterous. I mean, man, your mother looks familiar as all get out. But, man, what a terrible thing. It really takes a special lady to leave her husband to go for a charming, stunning, I'm assuming, of course, man to come in here.
Homewrecker is the term you're looking for, Van Helsing. After that, everything went to shit. My father was an unloving, miserable person, and the only good qualities were brought out by my mother. When she left, he just beat me wild, just aggressively beat me for anything. Even when I did things right, he just hit the shit out of me. Oh, it was really brutal. And after that, I look a lot like my mom, even like the rack. I had like kind of like man titties as a kid, I was a little chubby. So even the rack kind of reminded him of her. So he was very mean to me, very cool. And, yeah, it all went downhill from here. But anyway, yeah, these are my family, and I don't know who that guy is. There's some picture of my mom with somebody. Actually, it looks kind of like you, Van Helsing.
Oh, yes, that is me in my younger days. I would go around just taking pictures with people, no big deal. Like, people would see me and they'd be like, "Oh, wow, world famous monster hunter. Let me get your picture." And then we would have relations. And then after
Wait, what do you mean relations? Hold on. Wait. I never saw this before. Wait, you're in a photo with you knew my mother?
Apparently so. I thought that rack looked awfully familiar.
Oh my God, Van Helsing. Why didn't you tell me you knew my mother?
Well, I didn't honestly know it was her at the time. I didn't get a good look at her face, my boy.
Oh my God. Oh, God, do you know what happened to her? Do you even know what happened to my mother after she left?
I am afraid I do know, but I can't tell you. It's too heart-wrenching. I look at these sad fat boy pictures of you, and it just breaks my heart terribly, terribly. Look at those cheeks. They're so fat. I can see the shame when you were stuffing in this picture, you're holding a chicken leg.
Don't turn this around on me, Van Helsing, okay? My mother died of a horrible disease. Promise me right now it wasn't the gift.
I am 99.9% sure. Absolutely. That it was the gift, and I'm sorry.
No, oh my God, Van Helsing, unbelievable. No, I don't believe this. My mother, no. We're gonna put this out of my mind. Must have been an ancestor. I mean, Jesus, you're not that old anyway. Like, how old are you, Van Helsing? Like, what, like 40? 50?
62.
Holy shit, that is about the right age. Okay, well, moving on. I'm just gonna, repress that, like most other memories. And here, my room's up here, right over here. And yeah, you can, come and take a look and to peer into the window that was Belmont as a child.
All right.
He's grabbing the big picture of him and Mrs. Belmont and try to bring him with him.
So I'm gonna say Belmont doesn't notice, and as he opens the room to like show you into his room, he's like super proud. But what you see is maybe not so much what you'd expect. It's very childish. There's like imagine like whatever the medieval version of Beanie Babies is. Like there's just like lots of like stuffed animals. There's like a lot of like really like dolls and makeup and just things you wouldn't expect from a young, male heir to a Monster Hunter clan. And he's like, yeah, it is not quite how I remembered, but this was where a lot of the intense training happened,
Yes, intense training with all of these dollies. Lots of dollies.
We don't call them dollies, they're action figures.
That one's a lady.
It's what ladies can get action too.
They're all ladies. There's not one man here. These are all ladies.
It's fine. I mean, the males don't have options. They'll wear the same fucking uniform, but the women, you could put on dresses, you could put on pantsuits. It's a really definitive time for being a lady. But listen, it's not here or there. Look, I go under my bed and I pull out this like box and I blow dust. And I'm like, this is what we're looking for. And I open it up, and you want to describe what we find in there?
Inside of this box is, in fact, a weapon, but not just any weapon. It is like a Kali stick, but it has like carvings on it of like little bears and like little toys that were taken away from you when your mother left. I assume that
this is the box, wrong box.
No, let me see it. What is that? It's a weapon, of course. You said we came here for weapons. That looks like a weapon.
Yes, this was my training stick back in the day, but I don't remember it looking quite like this.
It looks like you've made some modifications to it.
Yes,
what is that for?
Some runes. I think these are very foreign, ancient runes that you would not be able to see.
Let me see that here.
No, it's okay.
You are quite the artist, Belmont, my boy, especially at a younger age. This one I can distinctly tell is you kissing a little teddy bear. Like the handwork and craftsmanship in this stick is...
Oh, give it back here, Van Helsing, okay? Don't pretend like you didn't play with the dollies back in the day. Anyway, this is actually helpful. It has like some plus 3 of luck and some other bullshit that we're probably going to need in this dumb adventure, okay? Listen, don't come into my house and start judging me, okay? Like, just because you maybe knew my mom doesn't mean that this is your house, your home.
You know what? You're right. I have been here before.
What the fuck? When?
Let's see. I remember an older brother. I remember an older sister. I remember a little, maybe like 5 or 6-year-old boy running around.
Yes, that would be me, Trevor, and my sister Tara, and Teva. He was adopted.
Yes, and then I either remember coming back 3 months later in my wagon and picking up this Lucy, and we just took off and hit the road.
Well, we just have a number of maids and whatnot. Whatever, neither here nor there. I don't want to know about you and your history here. All right, we're going to stop in my father's room. I know he has a safe in there, and that has some important information.
So, yes, I'll lead the way. I know the way.
So I'm going to say, all right, yeah, you actually do know the way, and Belmont is getting increasingly more concerned about your history with his family history. And so we get into the father's room, and it's like definitely like what you would expect. Like, even though it wasn't like religious, because his father was like another monster hunter, it was kind of what you'd imagine, like some like Quaker, some like religious zealot. Like, it's just like very bare bones, like just pictures, just weapons and wood and no comfort items, no vanity or anything like that. And Belmont takes down this like one portrait of the family that had his mother in it, and like lifts it up, and then behind it is a safe.
Ooh, while you're doing that, Van Helsing is reaching up to the rafters, and he's like feeling around like the crown molding and stuff. He's like,
"Where are you? I know you're up here somewhere. There you are."
And he pulls out a little rat tail looking thing, and he's like,
"Oh, yes, my lucky rat tail. I can't believe you're still here after all this time. Let me go back in my pocket."
I'm going to say Belmont doesn't notice that. And he's like, so what was the combination there? And he pauses for a minute and then, whatever he remembers, like, oh, of course, how could I forget? And it's his mother's birthday. And so he like turns the safe and the safe clips open. And in it is a number of kind of like some texts in there, no weaponry. And there's also this like kind of like very elaborate parchment, like sealed in this like special kind of case. And he pulls this out and like, this right here, Van Helsing, you know what this is? You don't. I'm not going to let you answer because this is the testament of my father and mother and the will of the estate.
Oh, what's the will of this house? To not crumble?
Very funny, Van Helsing. No, this is not just the will of the estate, but the will of our clan to defeat Dracula. Herein lies the protocol to follow to beat Dracula, to redeem ourselves, and also, yes, the inheritance and all that. See, if you actually, and he unrolls it, if you see right here, in the event of a catastrophic total decimation of our clan, everything will be left to one. And then he like holds his breath. He's like, that can't be right. And it says Abraham Van Helsing on it.
Oh, what a coinky-dink. Would you look at that? It seems I've also had a pleasant time with your father in my stays here. Crazy times in the Belmont house.
This doesn't make any sense. This is some kind of prank. But did you come here before me set this up? That old prank you did that one time with the clowns and the circus.
No.
The tent you lit on fire.
Listen, 20 years ago, I was in my prime. I was ripped. I had fans. My hair wasn't falling out from stress. I might have had a little gut still, but people appreciated that back then, 20
What are you saying? I know, okay, fine, you got around with my mother, whatever, but are you saying you got around with my father, too?
Hey, yeah, I'm just a guy.
Wait, let me hold this up. And I look, and it's clearly, like, upon analyzing the, like, handwriting, like, it doesn't match anything at all, and you can actually see, like, scratched out beneath it is my name, like, Trevor Belmont. I'm like, you piece of shit.
Oh, no, you can't deny a government-stamped document, my boy. Okay, this house and everything in it belongs to me.
It's a picture of a mouse, Captain Pirate.
Yes.
It actually looks a lot like McNibbles.
Yes, that's my seal. I stamped that there 20 years ago when me and your father were doing business deals.
All right, don't say it like that. Whatever. Here, this is the part that's important. I don't care about who inherits this old piece of shit, crumbling piece of property. This is the protocol for defeating Dracula. We have to go downstairs into the archive. It says in this section of the library, the family library, we will find the tome of which will be the redemption of our people.
Oh, well then, onward. Good thing I didn't throw, I wouldn't have had access to throw anything away that I wasn't supposed to, but thank goodness that document is still intact.
Yeah, thank goodness. And I like rip the part with your name off. Anyway, since you know your way around, anywhere else you want to stop before we head into the archive?
One more place. And he's like, la, 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 la. And he goes to like a bus of like a old great-great-great-great-grandfather, Belmont. He's like, one little thing here. And
there's nothing over there. What are you wasting your time, Van Helsing?
The bus, a quarter turn, and like a little door pops open. And then he just like reaches his hand behind the little door slot and then grabs some booze. He's like, this is all I needed. Onward to the library.
I didn't even know that was there. Oh my God. You quite know more secrets about my family fucking home than I do. Unbelievable.
Well, once I drink this, then I'm going to remember a whole lot more. Because, if you want to remember things, you have to get to the state in which you were to remember them. And I was plastered.
God, you are just shitting all over my family and my memories. Anyway, you guys head downstairs. So you go back downstairs to the first floor, and then you go down into this great room, and then you go down and enter this kind of like similar situation, kind of like a secret door that then goes down into another kind of catacomby staircase. And before we know it, we are in a grand, well, at first a very big dark place, but Belmont has a torch on hand. He lights it up, lights some things, and before you know it, an entire library, a massive vault of texts and knowledge and equipment is illuminated before you. And I'm like, take it all in, Van Helsing. This is the greatest archive of anti-demonic weaponry and knowledge you'll ever find anywhere. And Europe, possibly the world.
It's a room full of dead trees, my boy. Like I don't know how impressed I could be with it. Yeah, it's just I can't even read half of these books. What language is this in?
All kinds of language. It really depends on us. Like my ancestors traveled far and wide and learned almost everything, and I can read most of them. Honestly, it's actually we studied a lot down here. We spent probably more time down in this tomb than I did outside playing with other children and friends and whatnot. So probably more acquainted here than anywhere else.
That is depressing.
They just like both kind of stare down. Well, anywho. Here's what the Will and Testament says. It looks like it is going to be in the backmost corner in the dark, archaic section, the locked away forbidden archive.
Of course it is. I'm sure there's pictures of me and your mother.
I doubt it. And yeah, so go ahead. I'll go back there. I want you to actually not meet me over there. There's a lot of... Don't touch anything. All right, okay. Well, actually, let's go over the rules real quick.
Okay, rule 1.
Don't touch anything.
Okay.
Some of this stuff is literally enchanted, and just even physical touch is actually the trigger for setting it off.
Now, is that only with my fingers?
It's with anything.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
No touch.
Okay.
No touchy.
Okay.
Second, do not... I guess it falls under number 1, but do not take anything with you. This stuff is more valuable than anything above ground and the property and everything. Down here, this is very valuable. And even like the acid on your fingers can, corrode the pages. So just leave it here because there is countless knowledge that might be needed by future generations. So don't touch anything. Don't take anything. The air outside could disintegrate it to the instant.
I see. And then he starts putting a book back on the shelf that he had in his coat pocket.
And I want to say it's like a really dumb one too. Like it's something like farm animals of the Eastern Europe.
Cows.
Yeah.
I saw this book on cows. I wanted it. But okay.
Lastly, whatever you do, don't go over to that section over there. See the one with the gates?
Yes.
That's like that. Just a whole part of the library gated off with like one lock on it. I know you're very tricky. Do not find a way into that room.
It's very enticing. It's calling out to me.
I know. That's why I just wanted to call out the elephant in the room. I know you're going to try it. Don't go in there. That is things we couldn't control, us Belmonts.
There's an elephant in that?
No, it's that's figuratively the elephant in the room. It's just addressing something obvious. But in there is types of arcane relics and also enemies that we trapped that we could not control, and we had to keep it imprisoned. So that's what we keep in there. Don't go in there.
See.
Don't release anything. Or by God, don't touch anything.
Okay, then. So there's no elephant in there, the rampant and out of control that you have stowed away in there, thus piquing my interest and wanting me to check inside that gated area even more so.
Well, whatever. I have the key right here, so I'm just going to go check out the Forbidden Tome, our archive section, and get what we need and get out of here.
Wait, can I see that key for just 1 second? I just want to check it.
I hold it up at a distance and wave it in front of you, and it's gone. I do a little magic trick, and it goes go back in my cuff.
You are clever.
Mm-hmm. I know you very well, Van Helsing.
Yes, nimble fingers, just like your mother.
And he just storms off. Fuck you. So I'm going to kind of turn over to you for a little bit, and I'll pretend to not DM you, but tell me what you're what you're gonna do down here while you're waiting for Belmont.
He's walking around through the books, kind of pacing just in front of the gate, inching closer and closer to the gate each time he moves.
Oh, stupid Belmont telling me what to do. He doesn't know anything about nothing. I could go in there and touch all kinds of things and nothing would happen to me. I think I've been in here before. Have I? I know I don't read.
All right, you want me to roll, or you want to roll for it? We'll do a investigation or history check for your memory.
Oh, you roll. I don't have any dice out.
Yep. 17. So I'm going to say you recall one time you got freaky with Belmont's mom, and you guys decided to go down to the library.
Oh, perfect. I remember precisely where this is at.
And I go over to a stone on the floor. And I'm like, this is the one. And I lift it up, and there's a copy of the key to the gate.
like what you find outside when you like put a spare key outside. You just have like a fake rock with a.
Yes, I can't believe I remembered this. Lucky me. Now, should I entrust my friend's wishes and not go in there? Probably not. But I am who I am. And so instead, I shall make a game out of it, and if it goes in the hole, it goes in the hole.
And he proceeds to tie a piece of string to the key, and he's going to stand like 5 feet away from the keyhole and just start trying to like throw in the key. And if it lands in the keyhole, he's going to go in.
All right, give me. I'm gonna roll for you a. I don't know. We'll call it like an like athletic or a sleight of hand.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter. We're just going numbers here. You rolled really low, so what I'm gonna say is you accidentally because this is like I said, it's like gated off, so it's like prison bars almost around the section. And I want to say you completely missed the lock, and you just ended up like throwing the key into the fucking cage.
Okay.
That is inconvenient for sure. Okay, next plan.
Van Helsing, I think I've got
Yes.
it. I got it. Do you want to meet me over here?
Yes, I will be there shortly as soon as I get done making a staircase out of these extra books you have laying around, and I shall climb over the top of the gate.
And as you do that, I'm going to roll for you. Yep, you roll fine. You notice the key starts to like move like further away into the cell, like towards the back. It's like very dark in the back, and the key starts to like slide that way.
Oh my goodness, Belmont, I may have done something that I shouldn't have.
Okay, I'll be right there. 1 second. Yeah, anything else you want to do before Belmont heads over?
I shall prepare for battle because obviously I remember now from 5 minutes ago where he said there's bad things in here. I should probably prepare myself for bad things.
And he just takes a swig of the booze he found earlier, and that's it.
So, Van Helsing kind of swaggers back. He's like, I've got it. This is exactly where... So apparently there is kind of a pattern. Like when Dracula revives, it happens like within a hexagram kind of like pattern. And so his next, we know where he died, back at the dinner for schmucks, as some people call it, whatever episode. We know he died here, so that his next revival would have been at this location. And I point on the map.
Ah, yes, of course. I should have seen it before, because come to find out, I have that exact pamphlet on my side here, tattooed on me. And there's a date scribbled there from 20 years ago. Very weird indeed. Forgot I had that completely.
Oh, Jesus, that looks like straight out of Waterworld. What else you got back there?
I don't know. There's a smiley face. There's a clown with a tally marks underneath of them. I'm up to 22 now.
Who is this portrait of my... Do you have a portrait of my mother on there?
I don't know. I can't see my back that well. We don't have mirrors and such all the time, and I don't get a good... What's it look like on my back?
Well, it kind of looks like my mother. She aged 20 years and had a mole on her forehead.
Nope, that's my mole. So, yeah, I remember that being there for sure. The tattoo, I might have been a little hazy, but that mole, I remember.
Well, neither here nor there. Look, I grabbed the attachment to the Morningstar whip. This is this has my ancestor. The very first Belmont is within inside of this attachment. And when I attach this to my whip, it can instantly destroy a demon from the inside out. They just explode upon contact. It's pretty wild.
Your ancestor must have been very tiny to fit inside that little tree.
No, it was a magic kind of imbued thing. There's not a tiny person in here, Van Helsing. That would make no fucking sense.
Well, next time you tell the story, I think you should be more clear.
Neither here nor there. Anyway, I just want to say thank you for not finding a way into that cage. Who knows what kind of deadly things are inside of there. And the last thing we'd want is something like that getting out, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yes. God forbid they got a hold of the key or something,
Yeah.
And we don't want that.
Good thing I have it right here. And he holds it up.
Yeah, you, the only key. Oh, yes.
By the way, what's all this string for?
Oh, I was playing a game called String.
Oh, were you winning?
No, it was a tough match. The string really let me have it.
Very well. I've equipped out. We have coordinates. I have my ancestors' soul stone attached to my morning star, and now I'm ready to go. Is there anything? I mean, Van Helsing, there could be weapons here that you've never fathomed before that could help you. There could be knowledge that could help you get into shape. Maybe some information on basic diet and nutrition that you could follow. A workout plan, perhaps. Like, anything could be down here. Are you sure you just want to explore before we go?
Now.
All right, very good. Well, let's go up. I have some rations I stored somewhere. I don't know if they're going to be very good, but we can see if they preserved since my last visit here. We can go and make our way out.
I'm down for that. Let's leave this creepy book prison immediately.
As we head up the stairs to the archive, I'm like, that's weird. Did you hear that, Van Helsing?
Well, what was that?
I don't know. I just thought I heard something back down in the tomb, but...
No, I'm sure it was nothing. It might have been my string. I left it down there.
Oh, yeah, your string made noise.
It has a mind of its own. It's why the game's called String.
I don't know if you're even making this up anymore, if there's an actual game called String. I never know with you. Hard to really keep up. But
yes, it's in a child's game that a Swami man once taught me. It's where you just lay a string and it does things and makes noises. But that's a thing neither here nor there, as you would say, Belmont. Let's proceed, shall we? Please?
Well, you seem to be in a rush, but yes, let's go. The rations aren't that good. Before you get excited, we're not looking at no golden corral by any means, all right? These are just dried fruits and stuff that I stored in a safe place, in a dry place.
No chocolate fountain?
No, Jesus Christ, what the fuck would I do? Oh my God, get up here.
There used to be a chocolate fountain in this house. I know it.
And as that happens, I imagine we're like going up this like spiral staircase, and we kept like lighting torches like as we were going down, and suddenly like they start going out like one by one, like all the torches like pop, 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 and the lights are going out, and I'm like, Van Helsing, what's going on?
Oh yes. While you were in the cage thing, I installed this new trinket. It's called an Allegra. And I was like, Allegra, turn off lights. And it went poof, 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 and it just turns off the torches for you. It's this new contraption. I read about it in one of those books that you left me for.
Cut the bullshit, Van Helsing. What did you do? What did you do while we were down there? What did you touch? Please, if you just tell me what you touched, I can fix it. It's not that hard. It's just tell me what you did, and I can reverse it.
I found the backup key underneath the loose stone that is down there.
What backup? There's no backup key to what?
There's a backup key. Every wife of a Belmont is given a backup key to the secret library in case she's the only survivor.
Wait, hold on. First of all, I was not given a backup key. Second of all, we don't need a backup key. We have a magic word to enter our door. Well, no, we don't. I made that up, but it's an actual magic ritual thing that you can do to get in.
Yes, well, I needed the key because you wouldn't let me have the key. So I needed another key, so I knew where to find a backup key.
That's weird. I was never told about. But anyway, the backup key for what? What are you talking about?
Oh, for the gate. To go into the top secret location where you have all the monsters.
Oh no, my God. So you unlocked the gate, but the gate looked locked.
No, I didn't unlock the gate.
Oh, thank God.
Let's say I was playing string with the key.
How does that game work?
Well, it's very long and complicated. It would probably take at least, I don't know, an hour and 19 minutes to fully comprehend.
All right, listen, I don't have time for this. You didn't unlock the gate, correct?
That is correct, actually.
Then we're good. We're good. If we didn't unlock the gate, we're good.
When you say good, like, let's say maybe in this game of string, the key was thrown through the gate and some kind of shadowy figure may or may not have grabbed the key and took off with it after pushing me down.
Oh my God, you put
down.
You could have pushed you down because the gate was locked. You're telling me you threw a backup key that I didn't even know existed to the gate to where we kept our enemies and our most like uncontrollable forces, and you threw it inside of the gate, and then something picked it up.
Yes, and then I think I really know what happened. I tripped on the stone I didn't put back, and I thought he pushed me down.
We need to get the fuck out of here. We don't know. Oh my God, Van Helsing, you don't even know what's in there. Do you know what's in there? You seem to know a lot about my fucking house, apparently. Back in and
no idea what's in there. One time we were partying with this one lady and she got all crazy. And then your father busted on us and he's like, oh, she's going in the room. And I was like, no, maybe I want to check out the room. And he was like, if you keep this up, you're going in there. And I'm like, oh, sorry, sir.
And that's where we hear a voice. And it says, do you know how long I've been down here?
Longer than me, I'm sure.
And then suddenly that voice, the tone changed and says, Van Helsing, is that you?
Oh, you damn well know it. How's it going, you? I'm a terrible names guy, Belmont. I don't know his name.
Hey, actually, this is a good thing. He seems to know you, so play it cool, and we will capture him and put it back in that fucking cage, and then get out of here, okay?
I'm nothing but cool. They call me Mr. Cool. I'm so cool.
I can hear both of you, by the way, and
Yes.
there is nothing to fear, even though I've been locked in your family vault for who knows how long. It is I, Bingo Bango, Sri Lankan guru extraordinaire and mentor to Van Helsing.
Belmont, do you know who this man is?
Apparently Bingo Bango, a Sri Lankan guru extraordinaire, and apparently your mentor, who has been locked in our basement.
Well, nobody asked you to be smart about it, but yes, he's all those things and more. He is the man, the myth, the legend that made me who I am today. He's the man who bestowed the gift on me.
I don't know how that's exchanged, but I'm not going to ask questions. And so, Bingo, do you come in peace? It's like, oh, yes, absolutely. I come. Not only do I come in peace, I come in pieces. I'm just tickled pink to be here and happy to be freed from your family prison.
Bingo, how did you even get into this place in the first place? Was it that orgy? Did you get lost and end up in the gate?
That's exactly it, my boy. You see, Sri Lankan tradition is that you first one do the orgy, last one to leave. And, well, I was the last one because when old Senior Belmont came home and wasn't too happy about us swinging around with his wife, even though it happened constantly, he trapped me down in this locker. But little does he know, an old Sri Lankan trick I have where I can fast for literally 20 years on just oxygen and positive energy.
What are the chances of that? What perfect timing to come down here. It's a tale as old as time, really. You've seen it once, you've seen it 1,000 times. You know, you're the last one at the orgy. You go to leave to make a sandwich, and then the husband comes home. It's terrible, really.
Exactly. And I see you have not been practicing that fasting I taught you. You're looking quite healthy, my friend. And he slaps your gut.
Hey, it's a belly full of jelly you're touching there. But that is it's new technology in the sciences. It's if you store belly fat, it actually gives you energy throughout the day. It's called diabetes, I believe.
Diabetes.
Yes, diabetes, and I am chock full of it.
Well, my boy, I have much to catch up on. Well, young Belmont, you've certainly grown up since those days. I remember your mother nursing you to bed when you had those nightmares before sneaking back into the servants' quarters where we used to hide. Van Helsing, it looks like you might be in need of some help. Is that right?
Oh, that is absolutely correct. And as a side note, Belmont, of course, you remember Bingo. He would always give you a dolly every time you showed up to the house, and he'd give you a little noogie, and that's probably why you have at least 40, 50, 100 dollies in your room.
It's not 100, Van Helsing. Jesus, let it go. And anyway, that wasn't this man. That was the head of the servants' quarters.
No. If you go up there and look at those dollies right now, I guarantee they have a tag on them that says made by Bingo.
Yes, Bingo. I thought that was like a doll manufacturing group.
No, it's this guy from Sri Lanka.
Wow. Okay, so really this sorry, there's just a lot to unravel here. So
Take your time, process.
Your mentor, who has been fasting for 20 years in the basement of my family home, is totally okay. Also slept with my mother, gave me a bunch of dolls, and is now joining us on our adventure.
It's all adding up to me.
Yes, that sounds about right, my boy. By the way, do you have any snake oil nearby? I hear it's very effective in the pursuit we're about to entail.
This snake oil is top of the line. I can promise you that, right? Tell him. You tell him.
Ah, yeah, snake oil. It's very rare, very, very expensive, and very useful where I come from. But that's neither here nor there. I think let's go up for old time's sake, visit your mom's room, and come up with a plan.
Yes, that is where I do all my best thinking. And your mother, Belmont, as a side note, loved the snake oil. She couldn't get enough.
Okay, that's enough. That's it. Let's go upstairs, and we will catch up, as it were. Bingo, Van Helsing, and honestly, we can need all the help we got. So let's go ahead and you son of a bitch, you're in.
Welcome back. I can't believe it's been 20 years and I just completely forgot you ever existed. I still bring you up all the time, but it never clicked that you were missing. What a coinky-dink.
Sometimes, Van Helsing, what you need comes just when you need it. And I think you're in need of some training. Some of the old ways, you know?
Oh, yes, I agree. 100%. It's funny that you should say that, though. Like, as soon as you need something, it's coming, because Belmont's mom would say that all the time. You remember that? Remember those nights?
And with that, he sighs and they head upstairs. And we will call that the episode.
Perfect.
And yeah, so a little fun little tidbit for our listeners. Bingo Bango is a new character, but kind of not new. So in our side campaign that we've been playing while not doing this podcast for a year, we're playing this whole scenario where Van Helsing and Bingo and his former mentor are on a quest to save Belmont from some mysterious magical. It's basically Tomb of Annihilation, but
Yes.
but reskinned for us.
Yeah, we're making it our own thing.
Yeah. So I created this character that is Van Helsing's mentor. He is the Sri Lankan guru, like Swami, that's always brought up in our previous episodes, and he is going to kind of do that like cliche thing in like the animes where like the sensei comes and teaches them everything, and then usually dies sometime after that. We'll see how that goes. But yeah,
Fingers crossed.
fingers crossed. Welcome back, Nate. We made it. The pod's back. Life is good. We're making money. We have internet. What can stop us?
Nothing. Things are looking up.
A year later, we do the next episode.
No, just as a side note to the listeners, like we said, this is a new format for us. We are doing things a little bit differently. So if it did seem a little bit rougher than our other stuff, we're going to get back into the swing of things. We just got to get the hang of it, but things are coming back full bore. We are going to continue the train, because Nate loves trains, of Nat One Presents Daft Monks podcast. So be ready and listen. Thank you.
Thanks. See you next week.
Bye.
Congratulations, you've survived another episode of Daft Monks. Did you enjoy the episode? Do you love the show? Do you want to pay for our dental plan? If so, I think it's only fair that you show Nat One some love in return. No, not that kind of love. Please, put it away. Oh, I meant follow us on our social medias and all that good stuff. Simply click the links in the episode description to follow us on our Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, or click support our show to make a monthly contribution to help pay for all the expensive software Nate subscribes to. And don't worry, other Nate will see the money eventually as it grows, but not anytime soon. I promise. Lastly, do you want even more Nat One goodness? Of course you do. Who wouldn't? Then click the prequel podcast link to listen to our experimental first season of podcasting for 50 plus more episodes of conspiracy theories, messy one-shot campaigns, and of course, all of your favorite Nat One hijinks. Now, thank you a ton, and we will talk to you next week.